What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You'll return to subscribe as always, guys. Welcome back. You guys see the cash at the bottom. I'm on my way down there later on next month for the Carly Russell court date. I'll be showing up, and if anybody wants to donate and contribute to the trip, it'd be greatly appreciated. But I want to talk about something. Now, Tyre Nichols has been in the news as of late because the newly released videos have came out. And it's a surprising case that I didn't even think about. Take a look at this news article that just appeared, and we'll come back and talk about it.
We also have an update on the Tyre Nichols death case tonight. New court filings reveal that Memphis police trainers could testify in the federal civil rights case against 4 former MPD officers charged with Nichols' death. Now, if they testify, one of the MPD trainers is expected to say under oath the force used on Nichols does not align with proper training. According to filings, prosecutors say another instructor could also explain how officers are taught that they could be prosecuted if they fail to intervene or prevent another officer from using excessive force.
All right, guys. That was a twist. Now, it says that they have going to have trainers come according to court documents, because if they're in the court document, that means they got people on there if need be to say something, if they need them to say, you know, one or two things or both. Number one was what? Actions that the policemen or the people out there dealing with Tyre Nichols were not consistent with proper training. We've seen that, the way they taught, the way they acted, where they brutalized them. And point two, officers could face charges, and they were told this when they were being trained, that they could face charges for not interfering when the force was excessive. Now, ladies and gentlemen, name anybody out there that was present during the apprehension of this man that exhibited one or two of those things, you know, within the code of being a policeman. They didn't. They didn't. I'm going to be real with y'all. I'm going to try to keep my emotions in check, but I mean, that last video I put out, and a lot of you didn't see it, I took it down because it had grabbed, there were 2 videos, but it grabbed the wrong one. You have to go back and look at it. If you looked at it already, the one about Adrian Blake's, if you go and look at it, you want to go back and look at it again, the video was wrong. That one video right there told me everything I needed to know about why this man was brutalized. And I'm going to tell you something. This goes deeper than that. Stop. I want you to hear me on this. The reason why Tyre Nichols was beaten. Now, I told you a long time ago when I spoke to people, you know, that, you know, when I got information, when this thing first popped off and everybody was saying it was a girl involved and stuff, we went past that already. That ain't got nothing to do with anything, and it's a myth. The reason why they beat on this man, if you looked at all of those tapes, and this Adrian Blake tape was the reason why I put that one out last, because it was very telling. It was about control, and it was about hatred. I think, you know, with the way we are now, a lot of us as black folk, and I'm being real, look at each other as enemies and have a underlying hatred for each other. I don't know if it's things we went through dealing with each other growing up, or just things we've been taught in the home about people that had problems with people that look like us. Either way, we done pick something up where we see each other as enemies. You hear it in music. Hear it, but violence. What are you talking about shooting? People that look like them. You see it in movies. Black films. Dealing with the same type of stuff. They beat this man, guys, in my opinion. You tell me if you agree or disagree in the comments section. They beat this man because they wanted to control him, meaning they kept saying to him, Put your hands behind your back. This man was punch drunk, beaten. He ran a mile in like 4 minutes. He was tired, exhausted when they got him on the ground. You still couldn't get his hands behind his back? That man was the size of rope. So he wasn't that strong. He wasn't like he was locking his limbs and sitting on his hands like a lot of people do in police videos where you can't get under there and unlock his elbows. His arms were straight out. Put your hands behind your back. How many times they let him go and he was just on the ground rather than in pain? Put your hands behind your back. Who can do that when they're getting the hell beat out of them? I ask you, who? That man took so many blows to the face, he was incoherent. Some of the blows he took, if you go and look, they would have made any man scream in pain. All he could do was moan because he was just spent. At no time did any of them say, that's enough. I mean, come on. Come on. You notice when they had him, he had him standing up? And Emmett Martin was punching him in his face. Do you know where was his hands when he was getting punched? At a good amount of time, they were right here. They could have put the cuffs on him right there. These dudes are so savage that they tricked themselves into believing he was a threat and he wasn't. Psychologically, because they were so turned up. It was like angry pit bulls attacking a person and still attacking him while they're dead. You ever seen that? Them dog attack videos, the dog keep mauling you even after you stop moving. That's the animalistic nature that they exhibited. For real, they're all guilty. They're all guilty. Just a whole chaotic environment from a man that wasn't fighting you back. Did you hear the radio chatter? Shh, such and such, this and that. He's fighting on the scene. Tell me when he swung a punch at anybody. If anything, he ran for his life that he couldn't hold on to. He couldn't hold on. That close to his house. I wonder how many times he thought about, let me just say this. Can you imagine being attacked where you're immobilized and freedom is right there in front of you? All he could do was call for his mother. Do you know how scared and desperate you have to be to call for your mother as a grown man? And I'm talking to the guys on this. All the men out here, think about it. He called for his mother multiple times as a grown man because he didn't see a way out of the situation. Men are problem solvers. In his desperation, he's seen he can't win. If they won't listen to me, maybe they'll listen to my mother. See, there's a lot of stuff in this case that like burns me up inside. The humiliation. Imagine his mother hearing that when she saw those tapes that I presented to you. He screamed for me and I couldn't help him. Let that sink in. He called for his mom, his protector, when he was young. And she couldn't hear his scream for help. I was debating when I first saw these tapes, whether I was going to put them out or not, because I didn't know, they're open to the public, but I didn't know if it was stir up a lot of emotion in a lot of people, because a lot of people didn't want to see. And it was your option. It was a warning in the beginning, watch it. And then I thought, see, that's the problem we have out here. A lot of people want to cover things up or say, that's pretty bad to see. We need to see the bad stuff. Because a lot of us live in dreamland or only think about how heinous something was. But until you see it and it moves something inside of you, once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's when change comes. That's when it comes. That last video I did, which was my final video, is the most hurtful one to me because it looked like a movie. They held him by the shoulder and kicked him in his face. Multiple times you seen Emmett Martin line up, back up. That man like 6'4", 300 and something pounds, 200 and something pounds. Played tight end in college football. That's a big human being. Line up, trying to time to kick him in the face without kicking the other officers. Demetrius Haley, kicking him in the face too. They kicked that man and did all that stuff to him, not because he couldn't, because it wasn't that he wouldn't put his hands behind his back. He couldn't. They wanted to have that control, saying, "Hey, put your hands behind your back." You wanted him to do it, but he was beat up. How could he do that? That's like breaking somebody's ankle and telling them to stand up, and then beating them until they stand up, which they can't because you done messed their head up so many times with blows they can't even comprehend reality. That's why they beat him, because they wanted him to do it. Put your hands behind your back. Keep looking at it. Go look at the videos. Put your hands behind your back. He can't. He's barely conscious. The only thing that kept him alive was adrenaline. Natural body defense, the instinct to spike him to keep him alive for survival. His body was in survival mode, whether he was incoherent or not. Another thing, this is what the onslaught came from. They were spraying each other with mace and kept getting mad because their eyes kept burning. They'd run off. Do you notice when Desmond Mills ran off in his one thing? Remember he ran off? He got sprayed. Then he came back. Move out the way. Move. He had enough. That energy he had, where he came with the baton, spurned all of the energy and got that negative spirit moving in everybody. And that's when he got the baton. Temperatures flared. It was at a boiling point now. Enough is enough, Tyre. You understand what I'm saying? He got the baton. Then he got the hands. Then he got the kicks to the face. I've never seen a grown man moan in pain like that. His hands were held and he had to take every blow. You cannot tell me when we read the damage that was done to him. He had a neck injury. That was from the kicks. He had a brain injury. The punches. I think the kicks had something to do with that too. Imagine being half conscious where you can't even wince and strengthen yourself to even take the blow and have somebody just fire on you. At what point was that not excessive force and somebody there intervened? I'm going to tell you another thing. Every cop there you saw was what? A black cop. Did you see the mentality of them? Some of them was laughing. Look over there, look at him. They laugh, everybody talking. Did you see them laughing and talking? Like it was the fight of their life. They constantly showing what they was doing to him. I did him like this. I did him like that. Boy, man, this dude here, this MF here. We shot Spike's, the electric thing. Taser in his back. He running down the street. He on something. You're police officers. You're out there every day. You can't tell when a guy is high off of something and when he's not. If a guy has mental problems or if he's not. I'm not saying Tyre Nichols had a mental problem. He didn't, but the guy was complying. Y'all was so much in a fit of rage. And that's the thing everybody can't understand. He got out the car and did what he was supposed to do. That y'all still did him like that. Then laughed about it. Called him a crackhead. Go and look at that last video I did. Demetrius Haley was so mad, he was about to come over there and kick him again when he was on the ground with the handcuffs on. He was about to get him again, then he stopped himself. They were mad because he made them look stupid. They made themselves look stupid. I could have put handcuffs on Tyre Nichols prior to them kicking him in the face and everything. I could have put handcuffs on him. I wish I was the supervisor out there instead of Lieutenant Dwayne Smith. It would have been a different outcome. And they would have been locked up that night. Because I would have came and asked the right questions. Like when I go down there for this trial. And hopefully, you see the cash app up when I go to this Carly Russell trial. Carly Russell court date. I'm going to ask the right questions. See, the thing that makes me different than a lot of people is I'm not syndicated to a news thing. I have media credentials and stuff. I'm not syndicated to a branch. I can't get fired. So I'll ask the right questions, especially dealing with stupid stuff. This whole thing stinks. You had all of those officers there, black officers, walking around like it was nothing, like they was regular dudes in the street, like somebody just got their ass whipped that deserved it, and people are snickering and laughing about it. What did he do? What did he do? Then the irony of this whole thing that I can't get out of my head was when he was in the ambulance coding. You got Desmond Mills Jr., who they gave a deal to. Go figure. Playing Hezekiah Walker's I Need You to Survive. That angers me so much. Now, I'm not in the, church and all of that stuff. But think about that. You just beat a man to death. You're following behind the ambulance. You're not thinking about the reports you got to do. If you're going to even get in trouble. Did you notice none of them had no worry on them? They had no worry on them. They were talking like they just was in the fight of their life against the dude where they all were courageous cops. This is why we signed up. They all breathing heavy, and the man, think about it, they all breathing heavy and the man never fought them back. That right there, I'd fire him. I'd fire him. You out of code for fitness. I'd fire him over that. Desmond Mills Jr. followed this man. Let's get back on that. And played I Need You to Survive. I pray for you. You pray for me. I love you. I need you to survive. While that man was in there coding out in the ambulance. What's messing with that? And they talking about they're going to bring these people up there to say this. They don't even have to bring them people up there. We already know. People that ain't cops know, hey, look, you could have broke it up, could have stopped it. Everything you did wasn't police training. Y'all was like ninjas in badges. And that makes me think, what are the criteria to being a police officer out there in Memphis? Because I'm going to tell you something, from an intellectual standpoint and a professional standpoint, from police officers, after I looked at those tapes, Demetrius Haley looks stupid to me. Desmond Mills Jr. does too, and Emmett Martin. Well, they all look dumb. But it was just crazy how just the way they talked, they didn't sound like they were educated. They didn't sound like they were professional. Another thing is this, you notice this? Remember I said we seem like we got a internalized hatred amongst each other? Did you see how bad Tyre Nichols looked on the ground? Did you see all he could do was move his feet? He was so tired. And when adrenaline was wearing off and he was in pain and moaning, nobody ever talked to him. It was like he was not there. And that's what hurts. They act like he was a thing instead of a person. They just looked and laughed at him. Why? I'm going to break something down to y'all before I get out of here. Y'all remember I'm going to simplify this. See if I can break this down. Y'all remember the Lion King, the original Lion King, right? Disney cartoon Lion King. Remember when Simba and his dad or whatever was up there and he was looking at the rock and Simba said, "What's that over there?" And he said, "Oh, those are the Badlands or whatever. You don't want to go over there. Don't never go over there." That represents where the lost is at. He wound up going. almost cost him his life. If his father didn't come in and swoop him and grab him, he would have expired that day, because what was out there was predatory. The streets, ladies and gentlemen, are the bad land. And there's a different type of temptations out here that are pulling our children into that. Whether it's movies, music, social media influencers, a lot of pro-radical people and stuff that talk and trick the minds of your children, and a lot of weak-minded adults. The streets are the streets for a reason. It's fair game out there. It's pray or be preyed upon. Only the wrong survive, not the strong. Only the wrong survive in the street. You need to show your children, when they're of age, these videos that I put out of what can happen to you if you're in the right place at the wrong time with the wrong officer. This is why when the cop pull you over, you should comply. And like I said before, even though he complied, his outcome was still messed up because they made up something fictitious to beat on this man. I'm speechless from this, y'all. I'm spent. I'm still tired from being up all night dissecting these videos the other night. I still haven't recovered from that. I can't wait for this trial to start. I don't think it's going to be long. It's not going to be a long. It's going to be a short trial. But I mean, I'm gonna be down there with the media. I would love to see these guys up close and just look them in the eye, because I know probably, I'm sure, more than sure, I've been told they know. They've seen my videos. Some of my videos I've done about them. They should be ashamed of themselves, and I hope they see this one. Y'all are foul. Y'all messed up. And this is a big stain against people that look like me. Everybody out here fighting over black and white. You know what I'm saying? And there are bigger issues out here we need to talk about. And it's all of us. I judge people, period. I care about everybody until you give me reason not to. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. When you meet me, you have a clean slate. I don't know these men, but I know their actions and intentions was messed up. Because a lot of times the energy and the that we give off of who we really are, it reflects outward, and it does what? It attracts a certain type of person or a certain type of energy, and they all exhibited the same energy. A likes B alike, plus they C alike. And I'm telling you right now, that whole amount of police that was in there are the same. When the situation comes down to it, they was all the same. They're some dark-hearted people. You're gonna play gospel music as if you're relieving your stress. Oh, it's been a hard day at work. Let me put on the Lord's gospel because I barely made it out of there alive. Cowards, all of them, all of them. And this goes beyond that traffic stop. It goes up some tiers where somebody, you can't tell me, nobody knew this was happening with all those infractions they had in the police department in their files. Y'all agree or disagree? Come on. There's a lot of more people that need to be held accountable. I'm Stock Market Steve for the Dynamic Reason channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. We need to start looking at stuff like this and remember it so that it doesn't happen again. But we are silly people. It'll be replaced by something else, and we won't even dwell on this. Look at the names of people we lost in the past that should still be here, unjustly taken out of here. This is one of the worst, if not the worst case I've seen since Rodney King. See, I was young when Rodney King came out. I'm an adult with wisdom now, and I see this. This right here was the worst I've ever seen, besides that East Cleveland crap. When that brutality case. But then again, A lot of us put ourselves in a position to be unjustly done like that. That's another thing I want to talk about, but I'll say that for another video. But he didn't deserve that. That could have been any of us. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.